I'm Kristina Warren. I'm a sound artist and composer and performer based in the US in Providence, Rhode Island, in the northeastern part of the US. I'm really excited this fall on the 12th of October to be presenting a new program at Floating Sound Gallery that will be in 4 parts, which I'll tell you more about in a moment. My work in general as a sound artist has to do with the blending and blurring of the time and frequency domains, meaning that if you think about it, all sound is rhythm at some level, a kind of either regular or irregular oscillation. And so I am very interested to explore the blending and blurring between tone and rhythm and pacing, and the way all these things interconnect in sound. I use a variety of materials, and I make many different kinds of work. Often I use field recordings and analog synthesized tones. And then more recently, I've taken up concertina, which I'll say a bit more about in a moment. But this kind of blending of acoustic, analog, and digital domains helps me get out and explore these questions about the both sonic and rhythmic, both temporal and tonal character of sound. So, with Floating Sound Gallery on the 12th of October, I will present a program in 4 parts. At 6 p.m., there will be an installation. At 7 p.m., I will give a solo performance. At 8 p.m., I will do a duo with Veronika Mayer. And at 9 p.m., the installation will run again to give you another chance to hear it if you miss it at 6 p.m. So the installation, which again will play twice, has to do with concertina difference tones, which are recorded and then I have processed in an analog context. So here's the concertina, and a difference tone might sound like so. So you can hear just the octave down there, but you can imagine this is really harmonically rich, has a lot of potential there. So the installation is 8-channel, lasts about an hour, and it explores these tones that I've fragmented, and I'm curious to explore both reflecting downward and then moving back upward through the harmonic spectrum. Again, thinking about how time and tone are really just gradations of the same thing in sound. So you get everything from sparse, delicate little bits of sound to long drone tones. And so it's quite an immersive experience, kind of exploring again this blend of the frequency domain and the temporal domain. And then at 7 p.m., I will give a solo real-time performance, again using the full 8 channels, and that will have to do with, well, it's a little hard to explain, but I call it almost time travel and escapism. So this will be purely electronic, no concertina. It will be, again, field recordings, analog synthesized tones, and using a lot of LFOs, low frequency oscillators, or slow patterns, causing sounds to cycle in and out. And so exploring ways that I can transport listeners in a certain metaphorical way through both slow evolutions of sounds and rapid interactions of sounds, sounds that are associative but not quite recognizable, and so on. And then the duo with Veronika Mayer at 8 p.m. will be about latency. And Veronika and I have discussed this, and we have some interesting thoughts, so I will let Veronika share her thoughts on that.
I am Veronika Mayer, and I am an electronic musician from Vienna, and I'm very happy to perform with Kristina Warren very soon at the Floating Sound Gallery. It is going to be our first collaboration, so I'm quite excited to what is going to happen. We will do improvisation, but we also decided to exchange our sound signals during the performance, so we will have a kind of ad hoc live processing. So we never know what the other one is going to send, so it's quite a challenge in our reaction and improvisation then. We are not prepared. So we are far away from a safe sonic journey, I would say. But that's great, and I really like to be surprised in sound making, even by my own sounds. And that's also the reason why my electronic tools all work to a great extent with random changing parameters. So I never know exactly what the output of my device will be, and I love to play with that. We also found the term latency for our duo as a kind of overall topic, and it also fits quite well, not in the technical terms, which is a mostly unwanted delay in audio processing, but in a philosophical sense. Latency is also a philosophical concept and means like things which are hidden but are possible. So it describes the present and the now as something which also has in itself what is going to happen afterwards. And this is a real good description on improvisation with sound, because each sound can be continued in multiple ways, of course, but also triggers expectations and development. So we have both. We are not sure what is going to happen afterwards, but we can sometimes assume it or even anticipate it. And this describes latency and also improvisation. So I am really curious to work with this ambivalent kind of sound making in the duo.
And that's really well said. And those are some of the things we want to explore with latency. Again, thinking about this tricky time, the way that time can be displaced, and even that displacement and sort of fragmentation of time can be powerful and communicative as well. And then once again at 9 p.m., the installation once more. So altogether, this will be an evening of exploration of time and tone through these various components of the evening. And we think through these combining of disparate elements, whether acoustic, analog, or digital. This will give a full picture of how sound can interact and evolve in both the time and frequency domains. Also ja, vielen Dank Anton und Floating Sound Gallery und Veronika Mayer, und ich freue mich sehr darauf, dieses Programm zu präsentieren.